If you're thinking about moving to San Diego, there's some things you gotta know. Is it a good place to live? What's bad about it? That's exactly what we're getting into today. We've been here our whole lives. So we're gonna share everything we like and dislike, the pros and cons about living right here in San Diego. So let's get into it right now.
So hopping into the pros, number one is it's San Diego. And that is the big pro is it's not just our weather. Obviously we talk about that a ton, but it's also kind of just the easygoingness. Just the vibe of San Diego is a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more calm, not as hustle and bustle. And that is a big pro of living here in San Diego.
Yeah, even though we're like the 8th biggest city. So when today we're talking about the county of San Diego because that's what we cover a lot. If you're reading, if you're checking out pros and cons, it might just cover the city of San Diego. This is all of the county of San Diego. It's like the city of San Diego is like the 8th biggest city in all of the US. So even though it is big, it's still chill. It doesn't feel like super packed. Another pro about living in San Diego is just the amount of things that you could do. Yes. Okay, I said we weren't going to talk about the weather, but just the weather, you can get outdoors at all times. So we'll get into some of the activities there, but just even living here, like people staycation here. So us as locals living here, a lot of times when we just want like a weekend getaway, we might just go to the lake house in San Marcos, the Omni in La Costa, maybe go downtown San Diego, maybe go to Coronado for the weekend. There's like plenty of places to stay, to explore. Living here in San Diego, staycations are pretty big. And wherever you're living too, you're gonna have a ton of other places to explore.
So there is a ton to do. We just did something brand new this past weekend, went to the Civic Theater down in downtown San Diego and got to watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse with an orchestra and a DJ. And it was nothing that we had ever even thought about in the past doing, but it was super fun. And we have a lot of that here. Downtown San Diego has a couple of theaters for musicals and plays. There's a big comedy scene here in San Diego too. There's downtown and La Jolla and Escondido, there's comedy clubs. There's really cool music venues. In Del Mar, you've got The Sound, which is new. You've got Belly Up in Solana Beach. You've got some other larger venues kind of sporadically through San Diego County. So a lot of live music here.
There's also at the fairgrounds at Del Mar during race season, during the fair, the actual San Diego County Fair going on, the live music events there. There's actually some pretty decent shows coming through there. The newest kind of venue in kind of near downtown San Diego is the Rady Shell. So they're having a lot of concerts. The venue's awesome. You're right on the bay down there. It's beautiful. You got some like low-key events, so like some smaller places. The Casbah is one of them down a little bit further south as well.
One kind of hidden spot too for live music is Humphreys, which is on Shelter Island in San Diego. Really cool spot, kind of middle level artists go there because it's not a huge venue, but it's outside right on the harbor. It's a really cool spot.
And if you have kids, there's some activities as well. Obviously we have the few theme parks here, Legoland, SeaWorld, the zoo, the safari park. You could shoot up to Disneyland up to the north. What else? Any that I'm missing?
Knott's Berry Farm.
Knott's Berry Farm. Oh, Sesame Place down south. Did that switch or is that a different one?
No, that's
a different one. That's a new one. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got all those. There's
even Universal Studios
up to the north as well. There's also a bunch of children's museums around. So there's a really cool one over in Escondido. Downtown you have one. There's a few others spread out around town. You can bring the kids on a hike. Annie's Canyon over in Solana Beach is a really cool hike. You're going through this little slot canyon. It's pretty easy. It takes like 10 minutes. Beautiful views from the top, but a little hike to get in there as well. There's also strawberry picking in Carlsbad. So a lot of different little kids activities besides just those, bigger theme parks.
If you're thinking about moving to San Diego, outdoor activities has got to be near the top of the list of reasons why you're moving here. And there's a ton to do. Cycling is huge here. Hiking is huge here. And not even just in San Diego County, but you're super close to bigger trail systems, spots where you can get up in the mountains too, in Palomar and Descanso and places like that too. So there's also a great opportunity for swimming. I'm not going to swim in the ocean, but a lot of people do. But there's great community pools as well for swimming. And also our parks are awesome. Specifically kind of here in North County, you've got Carlsbad is one of the best cities for parks. You've got Agua Norte, which is just a great park. It has a ton of, it has a community pool even, if you're looking for that, but it has playground, skate park, baseball fields, soccer fields. It's got everything you need. Great spot. And then sports is another one of the outdoor activities. Adults, like Chris and I, play softball, but youth sports too. There's a ton of opportunity for all different sports. You've got baseball and soccer, probably two of the biggest. FNL has become, Friday Night Lights, which is flag football, has become huge here. You've got lacrosse. What else you got?
You got basketball, so there's
Yep.
some indoor gyms as well. There's a few ice hockey rinks around that some of guys on our team actually go play. I think there's kids hockey too.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that.
There is.
But yeah, there's some indoor activities, sports as well. So it's not just all outdoors. You got some indoor stuff too. And one of the biggest things we do here is barbecues at your house. Have your friends over, barbecue. This guy's got a pool, so nice little pool parties, like just parties in the park, bouncy houses, and for birthdays and stuff. Just enjoying San Diego, like hanging with your friends. That's like what a lot of the time spent here in San Diego is yeah, you will hit all these little things. We'll have these bigger, bring the kids to Legoland for their birthdays and stuff. Maybe you have season passes, go check out Safari Park every now and again. But really, just a lot of hang time, a lot of chilling with friends and enjoying San Diego.
One pro here is our job market. Some may say there's a little bit of a con there that we lack in some kind of industries here in San Diego, but there is a ton of opportunity. There is a lot of opportunity in healthcare, a lot of opportunity in the military. We've got almost every branch of the military here in San Diego. So if you're stationed at Miramar, Camp Pendleton, Coronado, there's a lot of different opportunities in the military here. We've also got some tech, and I'd say tech is also one of the job markets that's kind of growing here. We've got Apple moving a campus here, actually a second campus here. Tech is kind of a growing industry here in San Diego.
And in that tech field, biotech is probably the biggest with the tech name on it. So you'll find a lot of biotech here in San Diego. And what we've noticed too is clients we've helped move out here. Maybe they're moving for a job. Maybe they got out here and then wanted to switch jobs in a few of these different categories, and they've had really no problem. So even if you're moving out for a job, there's other opportunities out here in San Diego where you're not stuck in that specific position if you did want to make a move and change your job. Now let's talk about breweries, the capital of craft, San Diego right here. We used to talk about it a lot more. I don't know why we stopped talking about the breweries so much.
Because you're not drinking right
Yeah,
now.
I'm not drinking, doing the little 75 hard action. But anyways, the brewery scene here in San Diego is fantastic. And you'll find all different versions, from little tasting rooms at your local little downtown spot where some of the breweries have these little satellite operations. You can go to the actual breweries where it's these big warehouses. They have the whole brewery set up in the back, so you can get eyes on that. It's like just cool vibe in there. That's like you're real close to some of the owners are in there, some of the people that started it, all the workers, meet everybody. It's pretty like cool local vibe. And then obviously any restaurants you're going to, they're gonna have a local craft brew. Right here in Encinitas, where we're filming right now, Brewer's Tap Room, they highlight about 20 different taps at any given time of local breweries. They do spread out a little bit and have some other small craft breweries from within California and whatnot. Well, kind of everywhere. But they do highlight a lot of these microbreweries right here in San Diego as well. So craft beer scene is awesome. Food-wise, most of them don't have their own food, but they're bringing in food trucks. They're bringing in kind of like catering style where they're set up right outside. So you're going to get some good food too. So like one of the ones that used to go to a brewery over in San Marcos, Copper Kings, they're actually starting their own restaurant here pretty soon. So
It's open.
Is it?
Yep.
There we go. So Cassidy loves their burgers. I've had them a few times. Delightful. Are they over in San Marcos?
Yeah, they're at San Marcos, right off San Marcos Boulevard.
Yeah.
It's a great spot. We've already had some friends check it out, and they do have beer on tap there too. So these breweries are kind of spread all throughout San Diego County, but there are some hubs. You've got a lot of breweries kind of in Vista, in the Sycamore Corridor is what we call it. Off Miramar, there's a bunch of breweries down there. There's some downtown. So there are throughout the county, but there are some spots where you can hit like a few of them in a day. There's a lot of like tour companies that take you to do tastings at a couple of breweries in an afternoon. So that's definitely something worth checking out too. And if you are thinking about moving out here, we'd love to grab a beer with you. Let us know. Call, text, email. We've got your back when moving to San Diego, and it's never too early to get the conversation started. Let's hop on a Zoom call, see how we can help you. And we are real estate agents here, so we'd love to help you move here.
And in San Diego, you're gonna find a lot of healthy food options with all the outdoor activities and running and biking, and everybody wants to stay healthy out here. So you're gonna find a lot of these super, like, very healthy restaurants. A lot of organic, a lot of locally sourced places. Pretty much in any city you're gonna find. I just read San Diego, I think it was Wallet Hub's survey. San Diego was the number 4 in vegetarian restaurants in all of the United States, so not too shabby. But other than that, San Diego, there's a lot of farmland around here, so you wouldn't think San Diego farms, but go to any of these farmers markets, you're gonna find a lot of local food here. So fruits, veggies, everything in between. Some local eggs, some local meat, chicken, all that stuff you can find at farmers market as well. Obviously, we're right near the ocean, so seafood coming right out of there, super fresh as well. So the healthy food options here are not few and far between. They're everywhere. You're gonna find a nice local spot in your neck of the woods where you could go get some healthy food.
Not just healthy food, great food kind of all around. Obviously, San Diego is really well known for Mexican food, and you can't drive 5 minutes without seeing another taco shop or Mexican restaurant. So that's huge here. So we're not above a nice California burrito, carne asada nachos.
Carne asada nachos, yeah. So good. You get some chips, you get some guac, you get some beans, you get some cheese, you get some carne asada. Nice little sundae. Oh, boom, perfect. It's good to go. So yeah, we got all those options here.
And just good food in general. Like San Diego is really well known for kind of that restaurant scene. There's really good local chefs here in San Diego. So the restaurant scene in general in San Diego County is killer.
Next pro is something that I think is a little bit underrated if you're looking at somewhere to live, and it's the scenery. It's just, San Diego is gorgeous. There's beautiful rolling hills. So as you're looking out, I've been to some places where it's like super flat. As you're looking out, you're seeing these rolling hills. Sometimes if it snows, you can see like snow on the mountains out in Palomar, up to the north if it's like super clear day, up in Big Bear. You have obviously the ocean, beautiful sunsets, even just driving down, like get a little headspace, go cruise the ocean, smell the ocean. Well, hopefully it smells good, but sometimes it doesn't. But smell the ocean and just like cruising around. A lot of the neighborhoods here, we don't have a ton of new construction, so a lot of the neighborhoods are mature, meaning they've had time to grow in. So, you know, beautiful big trees. It's just a really pretty place as you cruise around. Sometimes driving up the freeway, it's a little bit ugly because it's like brown and dead, and you know, we're obviously not known for rain. But as you cruise around, I think it's one of the underrated pros here in SD.
And a big part of that too is, Chris already mentioned the terrain, but there's hills everywhere. So even if you don't have ocean views from your house, so like for instance, I don't, but driving down the main road that goes through San Diego Hills where I live, there's gorgeous views of the ocean from there, wide, expansive views. Next up is it's easy. This community, San Diego as a whole, is really comfortable, really easy to live in, super convenient. I mean, the freeways are not as packed as, say, Los Angeles to the north. So it's just a little bit more, you just feel a little more comfortable, especially once you've found your area, found your bubble that you're gonna be in, you just get comfortable. So let's get into cons. The first one up is kind of tying into what I just said, is get kind of stuck in your bubble. So once you do find your spot, exploring, you know, kind of goes to the wayside. Trying to get out of your bubble is not always easy. So you do see that folks like that move to Encinitas stay in Encinitas. People that move to Oceanside, they kind of stay in their little bubble in Oceanside. So people do have a tendency in San Diego to do that. But like we talked about, there's great opportunity if you do go out and explore to make that con go away.
Yeah, let's say you want to move out here and you have somewhere you visited out here. Maybe there's somewhere in Carlsbad that you're like, love that area, maybe we'll just cruise there, but I actually want to live a little closer to downtown San Diego. So you buy your house in downtown San Diego, you're probably not going to get up to Carlsbad all that often. You're going to be stuck in your little either North Park or Hillcrest or, you know, Little Italy or wherever you are down there. The next con is it's expensive. You guys know that. We're not going to get too far into it. We have a whole other video. It's like 30 minutes. I'm cruising through, telling you all the expenses, breaking down what it costs to shop here, for gas, to your housing expenses. Obviously, that's one of the biggest ones. But a few of the expenses that are maybe not unexpected, but maybe you're just not thinking of. One thing that just happened to our situation is childcare went up. It's always been up, but it went increased again. So we have our guy in childcare 5 days a week, and this one's nice. They have like food included and, you know, all that kind of stuff. The hours are great. It's early and a little later, but it was like $1,770 per month. They're raising it almost $100 to $1,860 a month. So if you have kids, there's also other costs, after school care. You know, there's some programs around where the kids could go to school. That's going to cost you a few bucks. Obviously, all of the camps and summer camps and all that, since we don't really have like an extended summer camp, like maybe if you're coming from the East Coast.
Another expense that you might not think about that's even changed over the last 6 months here in San Diego is the cost of homeowners insurance. Insurance in general, but homeowners insurance is the big one, obviously. And That's due to a lot of insurance companies leaving California, but also fire insurance has gotten way more expensive. So if you're in a high fire zone, or if you're looking in a neighborhood that has a tendency to be like on the edges to be in a high fire zone, you just want to keep that in mind as an added expense. We've also seen kind of recently also, if there are insurance claims recently on a home, that does increase the rate as well.
And while we do have farmers markets, the local, the fresh, all that kind of stuff, that is expensive too. I was just at farmers market over in Lucadia, went there. You know, there's some things that aren't too bad, berries and this and that, you know, where you're like, okay, that's not too bad. But I got some almond butter, it's like a little jar, and it was like 20 bucks. So if you're going to farmers markets, be sure to budget for that, because it could get pretty expensive pretty quick. Still local, still fresh, you still get that vibe. Go explore, and there's some good food there too.
One of the pros was food, one of the cons is also food, and it's kind of just what we're lacking. There's obviously a ton of great Mexican food. There is a really great area in Kearney Mesa with a ton of great Asian restaurants down there. And one of the foods that we're lacking is barbecue. And San Diego is not known for having a great barbecue scene, but there's not a ton of great barbecue restaurants. We have had them in the past, they haven't lasted, and there are a couple here and there. That's not something that San Diego is known for. Also,
real quick on barbecue.
Yes.
One that I did go to recently, back to the brewery scene too, that has great beer, is Heritage Barbecue up in Oceanside. I think that's like the first time I've actually been to like a real barbecue place. They have some fantastic food. It's brand new. They're out of San Juan Capistrano, I believe, up north a little further, but really good. The beer was fantastic. The food was fantastic. So
and kind of a creative menu too. Like not just like basic barbecue, but like kind of a creative touch on barbecue as well. Great spot.
That is one, but not many.
Yes. And then it's questionable whether our pizza scene is good. There are folks that come out from the East Coast or Chicago, don't love our pizza. We grew up on it, so I like it.
Yeah, my wife's from the East Coast, and there's certain spots where it's like, yeah, that'll do. That's good. There's certain spots that people from the East Coast have started out here that are pretty good. Next up, hopping into another con is some of the restrictions we have here in San Diego. One of them being water, depending on the year. This year we've had a ton of water, so it's been okay. There's no restrictions on watering your lawn. Sometimes it even got as deep as like how long you're showering and like what days you can water your lawn or wash your car at your house. We're not there right now, time of day, but it can happen for sure. If we have these droughts that go on for extended amount of time, water restrictions can get pretty restrictive and annoying, yes. Another restriction that we somewhat have, I guess, is energy restrictions. So depending on, let's say, depending on hours in the day, like if you want to do a load of laundry between 4 and 9 p.m., obviously you could do it, it's at your house, but it's gonna cost you significantly more. So there's certain times of the day, and sometimes if we have like a real hot day, a lot of people, you know, they're not budgeting, they're kind of like restricting the amount of energy people are using or trying to. So they have like these flex alerts where the amount you're paying for your electricity during that day, during certain times, is gonna be a lot more. So you will see that. You see a lot of houses that do have solar, you know, there's leased solar, there's bought solar, depends on what route you're going, where it does cut down on the energy cost a little bit. Obviously another energy cost is gas is pretty restrictive out here. It's like, I don't even know what it is right now.
It's expensive.
It's expensive, let's just say that.
The next con you might not really think about, but it's beach closures. Since we don't get a ton of rain, when it does rain, you get a bunch of storm water in the ocean, kind of down south, kind of Imperial Beach area, you definitely see that. But you see it all up and down the coast. If we get a lot of rain, you'll see kind of that runoff, you'll see beach closure signs everywhere, and that's really just because the water is not in the greatest shape to be in.
Yeah, even if they don't have beach closures, after a big rain, if you're going into the ocean, if you're going into the water, I think it's like a 72-hour time frame that they recommend. Don't go in there, because that's when all the stuff that washed down from inland goes down in the ocean. So a lot easier to get sick and catch something that you might not want to catch going in the ocean. Next up is that most of San Diego is either suburban or rural, well, semi-rural, I would say. It's not like these big grasslands and stuff, but most of it's going to be like that, where if you're used to that city life, you're used to kind of the, you know, the energy of the city, that's not San Diego. Like we mentioned in the beginning part of this, it's mellow, it's laid back. Most people here are driving, so you're going to need a car out here because just everything's spread out. It's that suburban sprawl. So once you get out of downtown San Diego, that's like one of the only areas where you have high-rise buildings. you'll find it here and there. But as you spread out, it's a lot of neighborhoods, a lot of different little nooks and crannies in different areas throughout San Diego. And most of the areas are like walkability scores are going to be somewhat low. If you want walkability, there's very few neighborhoods that you can target and figure out, okay, I want to be, you know, like Little Italy. North Park has a few. Downtown obviously is pretty walkable. Near any of the like downtown areas like Carlsbad Village, Encinitas, kind of the Coast Highway down in Solana Beach or Del Mar. Those are like the most walkable. When we talk walkable, we mentioned it in the past videos on this channel. We're talking about like sidewalks. How walkable is it? Because even when you get to some of these semi-rural areas, there's no sidewalks out there. So walkability, not something really San Diego's known for. Next
up is that it's a tourist destination. So a lot of folks come out here for vacations to San Diego. And so some of the specifically coastal areas get a little bit more crowded, but it's also very specific. There's towns that are less touristy. There's towns that are a little bit more. Definitely down in the downtown area, kind of south of the 56, you'll tend to have more tourism during the summer months, where it's a little bit less in North County. So if you're thinking about becoming a local rather than a tourist, definitely get that conversation rolling. Hit us up. Let's set up a Zoom call. Let's chat on the phone. Let's get the conversation started, and we can help you move to San Diego.